Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this emergency live. So right now it is Saturday, January 18th, 2025. We have one more day and a wake up before Donald Trump is inaugurated. I am only 32 or I'm 32 or 33 years old. You forget. Oh, I'm about to be 33. This is the weirdest, the strangest, the most public, but yet the most secretive inauguration of my lifetime. And I speak to some of my friends and family members that are older, that are in their 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s. They've never seen anything like this. Something is going on. They're telling us it's the weather. Do I believe them? Do I not believe them? I don't know, but we're going to get into it. Even so, no one's going to be at Trump's inauguration, not even Elon Musk. And I'm going to get to it. Only senators and congressmen with their wives and husbands are allowed to come, and the Supreme Court justices. And even still, many congressmen who are former military are saying they are leaving their wives and children at home. This is weird. We're going to get right into it. But please, first, do me a huge favor. Smash that thumbs up button. Make sure that you are subscribed with bell notification buttons on so that you are updated every time I upload or go live. Also, leave me a comment. Where are you watching me from? I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's get right into it. Before I get into the news articles, I want to show you from just 3 days ago this congressman talking about Trump's inauguration and how worried he is.
My family's not coming to the inauguration on January 20th because I don't know what's going to happen. The reason I told him I don't want to come to inauguration is I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm going to be in warrior mode. So 20 years in the Navy, my colleague here, 20 years in the Navy. I know I'll be in warrior mode that day, more interested in protecting my family than watching an inauguration. So I said, I can't be a good daddy, husband, and host if I'm in warrior mode.
So he's a former Navy and says, I am going there and I'm going to be in warrior mode. That's why I told my wife and my children, I'm sorry, you can't come. I'm going to be in warrior mode. Last night, Real American Voices broke the news that no friends are allowed. It's going to be former presidents and their families. It's got to be congressmen and women, senators with their significant others and their children, their family, and then the Supreme Court justices, because they have to do their job and inaugurate Donald Trump. But here's another thing. There's two things I want to show you. Here's the first one. Report suggests discussions are underway to move the inauguration into the White House. If they do this, this is the fourth move in 24 hours. 4 location moves in 24 hours. Now, unconfirmed, I can't confirm nor deny this, but I heard that Donald Trump is hiring for 24 hours a private security team on top of the military, the police, the Secret Service. It is the most expensive private security team in the world, and he is going to be paying them over $8 million out of pocket for 24-hour protection for the inauguration. Discussions are reportedly underway to move President Trump's second inaugural ceremony indoors to the White House. This follows initial announcement that the swearing-in would shift to the Capitol Rotunda due to an Arctic blast gripping Washington, D.C., with temperatures expected to plunge into the 20s. This decision comes amid an Arctic blast sweeping the country, which threatens to make this inauguration the coldest since President Ronald Reagan's second swearing-in ceremony in 1985. Back then, record low temperatures forced Reagan's ceremony indoor to the Capitol Rotunda. Now, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. Pastor Biggs, I believe, the bald guy who prophesied Trump getting shot in the ear. He prophesied Trump winning the election on election night. About 2 months ago, he prophesied that in one night, there's going to be death on Bourbon Street and an explosion in Las Vegas outside of Trump Tower, and he saw a Tesla Cybertruck. 4 days ago, he prophesied that there's going to be a lot of dangers in Washington, D.C. for Donald Trump's inauguration. Yes, Brandon Biggs. Thank you, Legends and Tales. So Pastor Brandon Biggs prophesied that there's going to be dangers. I sent that video to every pastor, every preacher, every church member, every family member that I knew all over the world. And I know many of you did. And I know millions of people watched it. And what did we all do? We got on our knees and we prayed to the Lord and said, God, protect the inauguration. Do you know what happened? When we put our faith in the Lord of the heavens and the earth, the one who truly has a plan, the name Yeshua, Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God, you know what happened? The Arctic blast started moving. As soon as people started praying, there was a up north, like over Canada, the winds shifted unexpectedly and started moving onto DC. I believe God is answering our prayers by making it so cold that the inauguration will be inside. Yes, by the way, Wild Man, thank you. I appreciate you. I moved out of Washington State 4 months ago. I'm in Arizona. But we started praying. The believers all over the world started praying for Donald Trump, for the inauguration, for Washington, D.C. And there's a shift in the winds and freezing cold temperatures to where they are moving it inside. I believe that's the hand of God. I believe that's the answered prayer. That's my opinion. The Lord hasn't spoken to me in a dream or a vision about this, but I feel that in my spirit. I feel this is God's answered prayers. Now, let's continue. Listen to this. This is something that they're doing for Mr. Jones. Please do not call my audience, my family dorks, or I'll have to block you. Sorry. Personal insult. Let's not do that, please. Let's be respectful. And yeah, YouTube takes like 30%. It sucks. All right. Watch this. This just broke moments ago, right before I went live. There we go. Many Washington, D.C. roads and metro subway stations to close during the inauguration. Want to know why this is good? Because Brandon Biggs, when he prophesied, he said that he saw lone hitters moving in onto Washington, D.C. using cars. They used cars, they used trucks. And so this is good that they are going to be closing the subways, the train stations, and the roads. So Washington, D.C. is going to be under a full lockdown. And one more thing. So for the last 48 hours, and it's going to continue up until the 21st, there are 4 helicopters flying over Washington, D.C. and the metro area. Around the clock, scanning for radiation, just in case there's a dirty bomb, just in case someone tries to bring something in. There are 4 helicopters in the air of the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area until the noon of the 21st, right, doing extra patrol for nuclear fallouts, dirty bombs, and whatever else that could be there. Now, check this out. As the presidential swearing-in ceremony Monday has been moved indoors and presumably heightened security measures are put into place for the two-time survivor of assassination attempts, DC residents and visitors can expect many road and transit closures. As the Gateway Pundit reported that President Trump announced his ceremony will be held inside the Capitol Rotunda, citing cold weather. However, there have also been concerns about Trump's safety following the two recent assassination attempts. The Gateway Pundit also reported this morning on a potential new shift to hold the inauguration ceremony inside the White House. News of a White House ceremony follows the decision of several local police departments around Washington, D.C. to reportedly decline to assist with security for Trump's inauguration. So listen to this. The police department of Washington, D.C. said they're not going to be helping, they're not going to be assisting the Secret Service inside, like at the Capitol, and they're not going to be assisting the military at the Capitol. They're going to be working in the city, shutting down the roads, making sure nobody comes in and nobody leaves. I love it. Shut it down. Shut it down within a 50-mile radius. You know? And there is a lot of strange things happening. Weird things are happening. But, you know, it's... Hold on. Where did that story go? I had a story pulled up. Okay. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to show you something here in a second. You are going to laugh. But they have, you know, military drones. They have helicopters. They have everything else up in the air. And they are fighting, you know, to protect Trump. Now, let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. Let me make a Vladanon prediction, right? And you see my face. You hear my voice and see my face. Vladanon. I make predictions. Monday's going to go smooth. I believe Trump will be inaugurated. Trump will be safe. I believe there will be some things that will happen right outside. Kind of like, let's go back to Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the RNC. One person was unalived by the police outside the RNC on day one, and another person was arrested on the final day of the RNC. They came there with guns. They wanted to unalive Trump. This was 3 days after the first assassination of Donald Trump. Right? So they came there with bad intentions, but because security was heightened to such a level, everything went fine. For the final story, I want to show you this. Who remembers Snoop Dogg in 2017? Come on. Oh, they don't have it here. So in 2016, when Donald Trump won the first time, Snoop Dogg called Trump a racist, a fascist, a sexist. He called him Nazi. He called him Hitler. This was 8 years ago. Last night, Snoop Dogg performed at a Donald Trump pre-inauguration party in D.C. Not only that, 8 years ago, Donald Trump released a diss track calling for the assassination of Donald Trump. And in the video, they have a Trump look-alike that at the end of the music video, Snoop Dogg pulls out a pew-pew and now unalives Donald Trump in his music video. Here we are 8 years later. He never endorsed Kamala Harris. He actually called people to vote for Donald Trump. And now, excuse me, now he is performing at a Donald Trump pre-party, hanging out with the likes of Colby Covington, the former UFC bantamweight champion. Here's Bo Loudon on Twitter says, hanging out with legendary Snoop Dogg, who is set to perform at President Trump's inauguration. Now, right, and then he plays a song. Of course, I can't play it, but because the video will get taken down. But listen to this. The rapper made a song parroting and mocking MAGA in 2017, but changed his tune and began supporting Trump in January 2024. I saw some what's called clips even before the election. He was saying, hey, vote for Trump. Like, I was wrong. There we are living through the biggest culture shift and a culture change in American history. 7 years ago, who would have thought or could have even predicted that MAGA is going to be mainstream? The rapper Nelly is going to be performing at Trump's after party and after inauguration party. Nelly, just a week ago, was performing one of his like older hit songs, and in the middle of the song, in the chorus, he changed one of the words to MAGA. This dude, like, who would have thought? He used to hang out with Obama. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the culture now. MAGA is the culture now. We are mainstream now. And let me tell you this. In the year of 2018, I don't remember this dude's name, but he lives in Seattle, a Russian, this like older Russian Ukrainian prophet. He's not known. He's a local at a small church. He stood up and he prophesied, and he said, I've given you Trump, says the Lord. And you, church, the church of Jesus Christ in this nation, instead of saving souls, because you are protected right now, I have given you grace. I gave you a great economy and I've gave you grace. And instead of winning souls, you're making your pockets fat. You're building bigger churches and bigger houses for yourself, instead of using this time of grace to go spread the gospel. And he said, if you don't stop and change course, I will allow Donald Trump to lose the 2020 election. And he was mocked, he was laughed, and then his pastor said, you're a false prophet. Trump could never lose. And then when 2020 happened, he stood up and said, the Lord warned you. Let's use this time to influence every area of society. From our schools, to our colleges, to our universities, to our workplace, to our churches, to our neighborhoods. Let's win it for the patriotic America. Let's go back to our roots. Right? And our roots are in Christ. But even if you're not a Christian, but if you're a conservative, work for conservative principles. If you're a Christian, you pretty much have to be automatically a conservative, because look at the left. They go completely against the scriptures. Let's not just, we're going to have the next 4 years. What do you think? How can I say? We're going to have financial golden, next 4 years where you can make so much money. And I'm going to take advantage of it. I am. I'm going to take advantage of it for my family. But I'm also looking at ministries to support. Who's doing what? And also, what role can I play on every front of this battle? These next 4 years, we either shine. Okay. The next 4 years are going to determine the next 50 years of our country. The next 4 years are going to determine the way the next 50 years go in this nation. We either just waste this time to make a bunch of money, to enjoy no new wars and a secure border and, the dollar being strong. And then in 4 years, the Democrats pull off another 2020 because we were sitting on our ass these last 4 years. Yeah, I am trying to read the chat and talk to you. Or we are going to use this time to influence society, to influence our friends, neighbors. And let's say 17, 18 months from now, gas is $1.80 a gallon, and groceries are cheap, rent goes down, interest rates goes down, everything's booming again. You go to your liberal friend or neighbor or cousin who never voted Republican, say, look, man, you had Trump, you had Obama, you had Trump, you had Biden, you have Trump again. How about on this next election, vote red, right? Let's be those voices. Let's be those voices of reason and dialogue. I think we are going to have an amazing next 4 years that we can either influence the next 50 years for greater good, or we can just have 4 good years and then because trust me, the far left extremists and this globalist swamp, these next 4 years are going to be fighting and doing everything they can to rig elections. Not only that, but to make sure no one like Trump ever gets back into office. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, pray for January 20th. Pray for the country. Pray for Trump. We're going to be doing good. Is Joe out of the White House yet? So I actually, before I went live, I saw a video on Twitter. They were actually moving all of Joe Biden's stuff out of the White House. I'm going to tell you a crazy story. I know somebody that voted for Hillary Clinton, for Joe Biden, and voted for Trump. They never voted Democrat. I actually know 2 people personally in my life that never voted Republican. And the Trump derangement syndrome that they had was, oh my goodness, they needed medications. They needed mental therapy. Guess what? They woke up to reality of life and they said, maybe I don't like Trump's attitude, but I like how he runs the country. And they voted for Trump and they voted red up and down the ballot for the first time in their life. Even in the midterms, they voted Democrat just 2 years ago. Yeah. So there is hope. I think we've got this. And James Alexander, yes. For the next 4 years, don't drop your guard. Like I've said this before the election. When Trump wins, that's not the end of the battle. If Trump were to win, which I never said 100% he's going to win or lose, but I said if Trump wins, that's when the battle just begins. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate each and every one of you that trusts me to come and get a news update. I know I don't have the best quality. I know my equipment isn't the greatest, but I try to tell you the truth. That's all that I believe that matters for me, is to tell the truth. And sometimes I do get it wrong, and I can admit that. So I try my best. I take positive criticism. I read your comments, so leave me your feedback. I love you guys. Keep me in your prayers. I pray for you guys. We're going to have some golden years, but we got to get to Monday and we got to get through Monday. Stay prayed up. Keep your guard up. God's on our side. The Lord Jesus, that's what matters more than anything. God bless you. See you in the next one.